Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 155 of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I really appreciate it. But this episode, we're going to talk about social media marketing strategy. Where should you be spending your time, and how can you divvy up your time so that you're able to get far more done, to be far more effective? And we're going to talk about the nuances of social media in 2019 and beyond. I think that this is going to be very, very important because just the segmentation that you have of your markets and who you're trying to reach, it's very, very different on each platform. And I think that each platform is just going to become increasingly more segmented as far as who you're reaching and things. And so moving forward, I think this really is important. And we're going to be talking through this. I know that you're going to get tons of value out of it, and hopefully you'll have a good strategy by the end of it on how to grow your social media marketing and where you should be spending time for your veterinary practice. Before we begin, I want to mention a few things. First, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe in iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you would like to, be sure to head on over to the Facebook group for the podcast. It's called the Veterinary Marketing Nerds. You can get help, ask questions, get collaboration, and connect with other veterinary professionals who are trying to market their practice as well. I also want to make sure that you're aware, I do have a planner, which is the digital marketing planner. It helps you get all of your marketing messaging unified and your whole strategy unified. And I've created an hour-long training that goes along with it. So if you go to veterinarymarketingpodcast.com/planner, you can get access to that training for free. It's built to work with the planner that I've made, though. You can buy the planner on Amazon. And for whatever reason, Amazon decided to put it on clearance, so they've taken $5 off. It's interesting. I didn't change the price or anything. Amazon just changed it. So if you want to get it, you can, I believe, get it for $14.95 right now. I'm actually not quite sure how that works. But anyways, let's get back to today's episode. So social media marketing is extremely important. And it's very interesting to see how large brands are approaching social media marketing. It's been very, very interesting, actually. A lot of brands are abandoning social, and they're trading it out for conversation marketings on their website and things, which is very, very interesting. I think it's a poor move, especially for these larger brands. One in particular that just came out yesterday is called Lush Cosmetics, and they make makeup, and they have huge social media properties, huge web properties that they've been developing out. Over 500,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, over 400,000 Facebook followers, huge Instagram followings, and they decided that they're just going to put all of their efforts into their website. So that's very, very interesting. And I think that the reason why a lot of these companies are doing that is because they're frustrated in, trying to reach their target markets and their target customers. And it's very, very time consuming to build out content, and it's time consuming to reach out and engage with your audiences. But the truth is, this is where people are spending time. And it is extremely important to be reaching your audiences, reaching your customers on whatever channel that you find you want to be growing your demographics. So let's talk about this really quick. Now, Facebook is still, I think, very important as a social media channel. It's just becoming more and more difficult to, sometimes, well, it depends on what you're doing and things, but for a lot of advertisers specifically, people are getting frustrated with the ad platform just because their ad policies are getting far more tighter. Their ads are more and more difficult to get approved, and they've just been, in general, kind of buggy. And that goes for Instagram as well. Just advertisers in general are kind of getting fed up. So what I'm seeing a lot in the digital marketing space is people are transitioning a lot more resources to Google ads, YouTube ads, and things like that. I think that there's still tremendous opportunity to reach your clients and your customers through Facebook and also through Instagram. So let's talk about what your strategy should be. I think in general, most practices, unless you have a I'll go through a few scenarios here with you. If you have a full-time social media marketing person, I think you should absolutely be on all of the social media channels. You should have blog posts going out. You should have podcasts going out. You should have YouTube videos going out. You should be repurposing your video and things. And I think it makes a lot of sense, especially if you have somebody in practice who does social for you full-time, right? And a lot more practices are doing that, which is very cool to see. And I think it's going to be tremendous value for the whole industry, just in that, people are going to be able to get more educated, get quality information, and they'll be, going to practices for their content versus, the other kind of sensational personalities that are out there on the web. So let's say, though, that you are a small practice and you don't have a full-time staff to go and handle things for you. I still think you should be on all the major platforms. So let's talk about what the major platforms are today. Number one, you have your website, you have blogging. Very, very important that you're getting content up on your website, optimized for SEO and the long tail searches that you want to be ranking for and all of that good stuff. Number two, I think Facebook and Instagram. Those are still the keys for veterinary practices. You can reach so many people in your areas with Facebook and Instagram. And then I think that LinkedIn is a spot socially that veterinary practices should be reposting content from their Facebook and Instagram and their blog posts and things. That's going to sound interesting to a lot of veterinary professionals because it's got business professionals and it's a business type situation on LinkedIn. But the truth is that there's high-end clients and high-end customers who are professionals who are hanging out on LinkedIn. And this, the organic reach that you can get within LinkedIn, it makes it a very powerful platform. And especially if you're doing a specialty practice where you rely on referrals, really creating content that's heavy around things that veterinary professionals are going to like and that they're going to engage with, which is technical surgery stuff, which is skill building, which is, what your specialty is. When you post something, and it doesn't just have to be LinkedIn, it can also be Instagram as well. And I see a lot of veterinary specialists posting about surgeries and just in general, really solid content. And veterinary professionals love that kind of thing. So if you're trying to grow your practice either from a standpoint of we want more referrals or maybe we want more people applying for work, then content does that. Now, let's talk really quick about, okay, that sounds great. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I also think that doing Google My Business posts is a great way to grow organically because you can still get, show up in search terms and search things. So Google My Business posts are fantastic for that. But let's talk about where should you be spending your time. So you have, let's say a limited amount of time to be getting stuff out there. Where should you be working? And so I think that in general, you should spend 80% of your time if you're limited. Now, hopefully you can do cross-platform content. You can create unique content for each one of the platforms. But if you can't, then spend 80% of your time on one specific platform. And if possible, I would make that platform be video based or video centric, right? So if you want to write blog posts and things, I think that's fine. But if you do video, you're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. And here's kind of why I think that is. You're going to be able to use that content across every one of the platforms. So Instagram, you can use video. Facebook, you can use video. LinkedIn, you can use video. YouTube, you can use video. And I didn't mention YouTube just because I did a series on video creation and how to optimize for YouTube. I think that it's not necessarily a social platform, but just as an engagement platform, specifically for reaching out to your clients and your customers, giving them great content that you can use to grow your brand there. But, posting your videos across each platform is very, very important. So I know that people say, well, you should be creating a reason for your followers to follow you on each specific platform. But I think that the state of social media in general is getting far more segmented in that, people that are on Facebook, they're not spending tons of time elsewhere in general. I think that people typically fall into buckets in that they are spending tons of time around one specific platform, and then they'll also use other platforms as well. However, it's not their primary, go-to. And so, especially the way that Facebook is turning out, the older demos are using Facebook far more. They're also using Instagram too. So, not to say that Facebook and Instagram doesn't have crossover and overlap, but I think that if you're posting the same content across each platform, again, this is if you don't have time to go out and make unique content, right? We have to be real. Are you going to actually go out and make something special and unique for Facebook, and make something special for Instagram, make something special for LinkedIn, and also unique blog content that you're going to post across each one of those? If the answer is no, okay, then we have to get real. You have to use your repurposing for that purpose, right? And so posting across multiple channels, I think, works out just fine, because, and I think that it's just going to become more and more prevalent that, people are starting to use their preferred channels to follow up with people. And so that being said, have video be the cornerstone of all of your content so that you can repurpose and reuse it across each platform as much as possible. And then I would put 80% of the work into a single platform. And again, this is only if you don't have unlimited times and resources to be creating unique content. So let's say that you're going to make Facebook your primary platform, which is cool. So the videos and the content that you're doing are created in mind for Facebook. You're doing that content, you're working there, but you're also taking it and you're reposting it to like Instagram stories. And you're doing stories on Facebook, and you're going to post them also to stories on Instagram. And you're doing Instagram posts that are connected to your Facebook page, and you're posting it with the intent of having it go to Facebook, right? You're still using Instagram, but the primary focus is on Facebook. And I think that having this kind of a plan where you're still posting across each one of the platforms, it helps you in that you can go through, and if something starts to work out in a way that, let's say Facebook completely, loses traction in 4 or 5 years, which I don't think that's going to happen, but just as a worst case scenario, let's say that they say, you know what, we're not going to have a news feed anymore. It's just going to be built around messaging in groups. Right, or something crazy. If you've been posting to Instagram and you have a following there as well, but it hasn't been your primary focus, it's not as difficult to go and start making Instagram your primary focus at that point. Same thing with LinkedIn. Same thing with YouTube. Making sure that you're constantly posting and repurposing your content in other platforms allows you to take on that platform when times change and when it's necessary to add additional channels. That you're going to know how people use the platform. You're going to have people that are already following you there, and then you're going to be able to grow and expand your current offerings. So I hope that this makes sense. And I think that for most practices, this probably is the most realistic expectation. In that, like, you're not going to be creating unique story content for Instagram. And on top of that, you're going to be creating videos. And on top of it, it just is being honest with where you are. And as much as you'd like to, and all the good intentions that you have to create, you have to be realistic with what you're doing and your schedule and things. So that would be my suggestion. And I think that as a practice, you need to be posting every single day using tools like Meet Edgar or Hootsuite or other tools like Agorapulse that will help you to put all of your content in one spot and then post it across all of the different platforms. So that's my impression for, what's going to be working for most practices and being realistic with the time that they have to put into it and all of that. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions or comments or need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe in iTunes or in Google Play. And if you could do me a huge favor, leave me an honest review in iTunes or Google Play. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next episode. Have a fantastic day.